What mystery lies behind the world's longest place name? Journey deep into the heart of South Africa, where a remote farm with an unforgettable name hides a secret as wild and unforgettable as the two buffaloes that gave it life. Discover the story that turns a mouthful of a name into a legend. In the heart of South Africa lies a place with a name so long and mysterious, it captures the imagination of all who hear it, Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein. But behind this tongue-twisting name, meaning the spring where two buffaloes were shot stone dead with one shot, hides a story as wild and unforgettable as the land itself. It is a tale passed down through generations, whispered around fires under the vast African sky, where every word carries the weight of history, courage, and the spirit of the ancestors. Join us as we uncover the secret of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein. A story that reveals not just a place, but a legacy of survival, community, and the power of storytelling that binds rural African villages together. This is more than a name. It is a gateway into a world where the past lives in the present and where every story told is a thread in the rich tapestry of African heritage. In the vast, sun-baked plains of South Africa's northwest province, where the horizon stretches endlessly beneath a dome of brilliant blue, there lies a place unlike any other. It is a farm with a name so long and tangled that even the wind seems to hesitate before whispering it aloud, Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein. The name rolls off the tongue like a riddle, a puzzle wrapped in the language of the land, Afrikaans, telling a story in a single breath. It means, quite literally, the spring where two buffaloes were shot stone dead with one shot. But this is more than just a name, it is a legend etched into the earth itself. The farm spreads wide beneath the watchful gaze of ancient baobab trees, their thick trunks gnarled and twisted like the hands of time. These trees, known as the Tree of Life, stand sentinel over the land, their branches reaching skyward as if holding up the heavens. Around their roots, the soil is rich and dark, moistened by a hidden spring whose waters bubble quietly, nourishing the grasses and wildflowers that sway in the gentle breeze. Locals speak of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein with a mixture of pride and awe. Travelers passing through the dusty roads often pause, drawn by the sheer curiosity of the name. Some try to say it aloud, stumbling over the syllables, while others listen intently as elders recount the tale behind it, how a single shot from a skilled hunter brought down two mighty buffaloes at the very spring that now bears their memory. But the story is not just about a hunter's marksmanship. It is a story woven with deeper threads, of survival, respect for the land, and the invisible ties that bind a community to its past. The spring itself is said to hold secrets, whispered by the wind and carried in the rustle of the baobab leaves. As the sun dips low, casting long shadows across the farm, the name Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein lingers in the air, an invitation to uncover the mysteries hidden beneath its many syllables, and to listen closely to the stories waiting to be told. Long before the name Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein was etched into the maps and memories of the land, there was a story told beneath the baobab trees, a story of two mighty buffaloes and a single, fateful shot. In those days, the plains were wild and untamed, home to herds of buffalo that roamed freely, their hooves thundering like distant drums across the earth. The buffaloes were not just animals, they were symbols of strength, endurance, and the spirit of the land itself. To the villagers nearby, they were both revered and respected, creatures whose lives were intertwined with the cycles of nature and the fortunes of the people. One dry season, when the riverbeds ran low and the grasses withered under the relentless sun, the villagers grew anxious. The water spring at the heart of the farm, now known as Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Fontein, became a precious sanctuary. It was said that any who drank from its waters would be blessed with protection and prosperity, but only if they honored the land and its creatures. It was during this time that a skilled hunter named Koos arrived in the village. Known far and wide for his unmatched marksmanship, Koos carried with him a rifle said to be blessed by the ancestors. The elders warned him to be cautious, for the buffaloes were no ordinary beasts, they were guardians of the spring, and their spirits watched over the land. One early morning, as the mist clung to the grasses and the sun began to rise, Koos set out toward the spring. There, he spotted two enormous buffaloes drinking side by side, their horns curved like ancient crowns. The hunter steadied his breath, aimed carefully, and fired a single shot that echoed across the plains. When the dust settled, both buffaloes lay motionless, struck down by one bullet. The villagers were stunned. Such a feat was unheard of and spoke of both great skill and great power. But the story did not end with the hunter's triumph. The elders gathered beneath the baobab to interpret the meaning of this event. They spoke of balance, how the land gives life, but it demands respect in return. The spring, they said, had witnessed a moment of great consequence, a reminder that with strength comes responsibility. From that day forward, the farm was named Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine, a name that told the story of the two buffaloes shot stone dead with one shot. It became a place where the villagers honored the delicate harmony between humans, animals, and nature. As the tale was passed down through generations, it grew richer with meaning. It taught that true power lies not in domination, but in understanding and respect. It reminded the people that every action echoes through the land and that the spirits of the buffaloes still watched over the spring, guarding the secrets of survival and unity. And so, the legend of the two buffaloes became more than a story of a hunter's skill, it became a lesson etched in the heart of the land. One early morning, as the mist clung to the grasses and the sun began to rise, Coos set out toward the spring. There, he spotted two enormous buffaloes drinking side by side, their horns curved like ancient crowns. The hunter steadied his breath, aimed carefully, and fired a single shot that echoed across the plains. When the dust settled, both buffaloes lay motionless, struck down by one bullet. The villagers were stunned. Such a feat was unheard of and spoke of both great skill and great power. But the story did not end with the hunter's triumph. The elders gathered beneath the baobab to interpret the meaning of this event. They spoke of balance, how the land gives life, but it demands respect in return. The spring, they said, had witnessed a moment of great consequence, a reminder that with strength comes responsibility. From that day forward, the farm was named Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine, a name that told the story of the two buffaloes shot stone dead with one shot. It became a place where the villagers honored the delicate harmony between humans, animals, and nature. As the tale was passed down through generations, it grew richer with meaning. It taught that true power lies not in domination, but in understanding and respect. It reminded the people that every action echoes through the land and that the spirits of the buffaloes still watched over the spring, guarding the secrets of survival and unity. And so, the legend of the two buffaloes became more than a story of a hunter's skill, it became a lesson etched in the heart of the land and the souls of its people, a tale told by moonlight to guide and inspire all who would listen. As twilight settled over Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine, the village came alive with the soft crackle of firewood and the murmurs of voices gathering beneath the great baobab tree. This ancient tree, with its massive trunk and sprawling branches, was more than just a silent witness to the passing seasons, it was the heart of the community, where stories flowed as freely as the water from the sacred spring. Tonight, the elders sat in a circle, their faces glowing in the firelight, ready to pass down the tale of the two buffaloes to the younger generation. Children nestled close to their parents, wide-eyed and eager, while the adults leaned in, recalling the lessons woven into the legend. The story was not merely about a hunter's skill or the fall of two mighty beasts. It was a living lesson about balance, between man and nature, pride and humility, survival and respect. The elders spoke of the land's gifts and its demands, reminding all that the spring was a sacred place where life and death danced in delicate harmony. Beyond storytelling, the villagers' lives were deeply connected to the land. They practiced farming traditions passed down through generations, growing maize, beans, sorghum, and millet, while raising goats, chickens, and cattle. These crops and animals were not just sources of food, they were threads in the fabric of community life, sustaining families and honoring ancestral ways. The farmers knew the soil intimately, feeling its texture, observing its color, and tasting its earthiness to judge its fertility, skills inherited from their great-grandparents. They practiced mixed cropping and crop rotation, nurturing the soil and protecting their harvests with natural remedies made from local plants. This knowledge, though ancient, was vital for survival in the challenging environment of the plains. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, the elders' voices carried the wisdom of the land and the ancestors. They spoke of how every action, whether planting a seed, tending livestock, or taking a life, echoed through the community and the earth itself. The story beneath the baobab was more than a tale, it was a guide for living in harmony with the world, a reminder that the secret of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine was not just in its name, but in the respect and care woven into every moment of village life. One dusty afternoon, as the sun beat down mercilessly on the golden plains surrounding Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine, a figure appeared on the horizon. A lone traveler, cloaked in a worn leather jacket and carrying a weathered satchel, made his way slowly toward the village. His arrival stirred whispers among the villagers, for strangers were rare in these parts, and their presence often brought change, sometimes welcome, sometimes feared. The traveler introduced himself as Mosi, a storyteller and seeker of forgotten truths. His eyes held a quiet intensity, as if he carried the weight of many journeys and untold secrets. When he spoke of the legendary farm's name, his voice dropped to a reverent whisper, and the villagers gathered eagerly to hear what he had to say. Mosi told of distant lands where names held power, where every syllable was a key to unlocking history and destiny. He spoke of the spring at Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine not just as a source of water, but as a sacred place where the spirits of the land and ancestors converged. His words stirred something deep within the hearts of the villagers, an awakening to the mysteries they had long felt but never fully understood. But Mosi's arrival also brought unease. He warned that the harmony of the land was fragile, threatened by forces both seen and unseen. He spoke of a shadow lurking beyond the horizon, a reminder that respect for the earth and its creatures must be upheld, or the balance would shatter. Some villagers welcomed Mosi's wisdom, eager to learn and protect their heritage. Others were wary, fearing that his stories might unsettle the peace they had fought to maintain. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, as old beliefs clashed with new ideas. As night fell, Mosi sat beneath the baobab tree, sharing tales of ancestors and spirits, weaving his knowledge into the fabric of the village's own stories. The firelight flickered on his face, casting shadows that danced like the legends themselves. The stranger's arrival marked a turning point for Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine. His stories challenged the villagers to look beyond the familiar, to confront hidden truths, and to protect the sacred balance that had sustained them for generations. In the days to come, the village would face choices that tested their unity and their faith in the land's enduring power. But for now, beneath the vast African sky, the whispers of the past and the promise of the future intertwined in the presence of the mysterious traveler. The days following Mosi's arrival were filled with quiet anticipation. The villagers of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmersdudgiskiet Fontaine found themselves drawn repeatedly to the sacred spring, the heart of their land and the source of countless stories. The water shimmered under the midday sun, clear and cool, whispering secrets only those who truly listened could hear. One evening, as the village gathered beneath the ancient baobab tree, Mosi spoke of the spring's deeper meaning. He revealed that the water was more than a life-giving force, it was a sacred link between the living and their ancestors. The spring was believed to be a gateway, where spirits crossed to guide and protect the people who honored the land. Mosi told of an ancient pact made long ago, a promise between the villagers and the spirits of the buffaloes that once roamed freely. The pact demanded respect, balance, and humility. It was said that when the hunter took the two buffaloes with a single shot, he unknowingly disturbed this sacred harmony. The spring, once a place of blessing, had since carried the weight of that act. The elders nodded solemnly, their eyes reflecting the flickering firelight and the gravity of the revelation. They spoke of how the land had tested them since that day, through droughts, poor harvests, and illness, reminding them of the price of imbalance. But Mosi's words also carried hope. He explained that the pact was not broken beyond repair. Through rituals of cleansing, forgiveness, and renewed respect, the village could restore harmony and heal the land's wounds. Guided by this wisdom, the villagers prepared for a sacred ceremony at the spring. They gathered herbs and offerings, sang ancestral songs, and called upon the spirits to witness their commitment. The air was thick with reverence and the scent of burning sage as they knelt beside the water, pledging to honor the delicate bond between humans, animals, and nature. As the night deepened, the spring seemed to glow softly, as if acknowledging their vow. The buffalo's spirits, once restless, were said to have found peace that night, their strength returning to the land. The secret of the spring was no longer hidden, it was a living truth embraced by the community. It reminded them that every action mattered, that respect for the earth was sacred, and that healing was always possible when hearts were open. Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiet Fontaine was more than a name, it was a story of connection, responsibility, and the enduring power of the land and its people. The harmony of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiet Fontaine was fragile, and soon the village would face a challenge that tested the very values it had long upheld. It began with a dispute, small at first, but growing like a shadow over the community. Two families, once close neighbors, found themselves at odds over the use of the grazing lands near the sacred spring. Tension simmered, threatening to unravel the peace that the ancestors had fought to protect. In the tradition of their forebears, the villagers turned to the council of elders, wise men and women who carried the weight of generations in their eyes. Beneath the sprawling baobab tree, the elders gathered in a circle, their voices calm but firm, ready to listen and mediate. This was no ordinary meeting, it was a trial of truth, where honesty, respect, and courage would be tested. The disputing families spoke in turn, sharing their grievances and fears. The elders asked probing questions, seeking not just facts but the intentions behind actions. They reminded the villagers of the ancient pact with the land, the sacred balance that must be honored for all to thrive. As the dialogue unfolded, old wounds surfaced, pride, jealousy, and misunderstandings that had festered in silence. But through patient listening and gentle guidance, the elders helped the families see beyond their differences. They encouraged forgiveness and compromise, emphasizing the strength found in unity. To seal their renewed commitment, the village performed a cleansing ceremony at the spring, invoking the spirits of the ancestors and the buffaloes. The ritual was a powerful reminder that peace was not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice and harmony. By the time the fire died down and the stars blanketed the sky, the community had come together stronger than before. The trial of truth had reaffirmed their shared values and the sacred bond with the land. In Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiet Fontaine, every challenge was a chance to grow, every conflict an opportunity to heal. And through the wisdom of the elders and the courage of the people, the legacy of respect, balance, and storytelling lived on. Under the vast African sky, where stars shimmered like scattered jewels, the village of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiet Fontaine gathered once more beneath the ancient baobab tree. This night was different, it was a celebration, a renewal of the bonds that had carried them through trials and triumphs alike. The story of the two buffaloes, the sacred spring, and the lessons learned had become more than just a tale whispered by elders. It was now the heartbeat of the community, a living legacy passed from old to young, woven into songs, dances, and daily life. Children sat wide-eyed, eager to add their voices to the chorus of storytellers, their laughter mingling with the crackling fire. Mosi, the stranger who had come with stories from afar, smiled quietly as he watched the village embrace its heritage. He knew that storytelling was not just about recounting events, it was about keeping culture alive, connecting generations, and inspiring hope. The elders spoke of the future, reminding everyone that the land and its stories were entrusted to their care. They urged respect for nature, kindness among neighbors, and courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the night deepened, the community danced and sang beneath the baobab's protective branches, their voices rising in harmony with the rhythms of the earth. The spring's waters glistened nearby, a symbol of life, renewal, and the enduring spirit of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiet Fontaine. In this moment, the longest name in the land was more than words, it was a testament to resilience, unity, and the power of stories to shape identity and destiny. And so, the legacy lived on, carried in the hearts and voices of those who would one day gather beneath the baobab to tell the tale anew, ensuring that the spirit of the land and its people would never fade. As the seasons turned in life at Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiat Fontaine flowed with the rhythms of the land, the village's true treasure revealed itself not just in the sacred spring or the ancient baobab, but in the power of its stories. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky blazed with fiery colors, the villagers gathered once again beneath the baobab tree. Here, the elders, the griots, and the young alike joined in a sacred tradition that had traveled through countless generations, storytelling. This was no mere telling of tales. It was a living, breathing ceremony where history, wisdom, and culture were passed down through song, dance, riddles, and spoken word. The griots, as keepers of memory and masters of oral art, wove the community's past and present into vibrant narratives, reminding all who listened of their roots and responsibilities. The children, wide-eyed and eager, learned not only about the two buffaloes and the sacred spring but also about the values that sustained their people: courage, respect, unity, and humility. Audience participation was encouraged, laughter, questions, and calls echoed through the night, making each storytelling session a shared experience. These gatherings were more than entertainment, they were the village's living archive, preserving history without ink or paper. As one elder explained, when a griot speaks, the ancestors listen, and the future is shaped. Through these stories, the villagers understood their place in the world, the lessons of their ancestors, and the importance of honoring the land and each other. The storytelling circle was the heart of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiat Fontaine's legacy, ensuring that its spirit would endure long after the fires died down. And so, beneath the vast African sky, the stories lived on. Carried by voices strong and clear, echoing across the plains, a timeless thread connecting past, present, and future. As the final embers of the fire flickered beneath the ancient baobab tree, the story of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiat Fontaine settled deep into the hearts of all who had listened. What began as a name, long, mysterious, and almost impossible to pronounce, had unfolded into a powerful legacy of courage, respect, and unity. The tale of the two buffaloes, the sacred spring, and the enduring spirit of the land reminded everyone that every place, every name, and every story carries the weight of history and the promise of the future. In this village, stories are not just words, they are lifelines connecting generations, teaching lessons, and shaping identity. The secret of Tweebuffelsmeteen Scootmers Dudgiskiat Fontaine is a secret of balance, between humans and nature, past and present, pride and humility. It is a reminder that when we listen closely to the land and to each other, we find the wisdom to heal, grow, and thrive. Thank you for journeying with us to the heart of South Africa and exploring the legend behind the longest place name in the land. We hope this story has inspired you to cherish the power of storytelling and the deep connections we share with our heritage and the natural world. If you enjoyed this tale, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories from Africa and beyond. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new adventure.